Listen to me. Time is running out. You think you have time? You think you can keep putting it off, keep delaying, keep making excuses? You don't. Every second that ticks by is a second you can't get back. You can make more money. You can make new friends. You can find new opportunities, but you can't make more time. Once it's gone, it's gone. Time is the most limited and most valuable resource you will ever have. People walk around like they have an endless supply of it. But the truth is, every single one of us is running out of time. You don't get a warning when your clock is about to stop ticking. There's no flashing sign that tells you how many days you have left to chase your dreams, to love your family, to impact the world. Time moves forward whether you are ready or not, whether you act or sit still. And unlike money, success, or relationships, time is the one thing you can never get back once it's gone. You can lose a job and get a new one. You can lose a friend and find another. You can lose money and earn it back. But when you lose time, it's gone forever. You don't get a refund. You don't get an exchange. You can't beg for another hour or another chance. Once the opportunity has passed, too many people live like they are immortal. They waste days, they waste years, thinking they have plenty of time to make a move, to start that business, to fix that relationship, to become who they were meant to be. They live in denial, believing that tomorrow is guaranteed. But there are no guarantees. Tomorrow is a promise made to no one. Time is a silent thief. It doesn't announce itself. It just moves steadily, quietly, pulling your future closer and closer to a finish line you can't see. You don't know how much is left. You don't know when the clock will strike zero. And that's why every second counts. Every choice matters. Every delay, every excuse, every moment wasted could be the difference between living your dreams and dying with regret. Some people act like their time is endless because they don't feel the urgency. They don't feel the weight of the ticking clock because it's not loud enough in their minds yet. But those who are successful, those who change the world, they hear it loud and clear. They understand that time is slipping through their fingers every day. And because of that, they move differently. They work with intensity. They love with passion. They chase their goals like their life depends on it, because in a way it does. Your dreams, your legacy, your impact are riding on how you use the time you have left. And if you think you can afford to waste even a second, you are lying to yourself. It's not the big things you lose by wasting time. It's the small moments that add up. 5 minutes of distraction, an hour of procrastination, a day of hesitation, a year of comfort. Little by little, it stacks up until you look back and realize that what could have been built over months or years was lost to hesitation and fear. Time doesn't feel heavy until you look back and realize how much you gave away without even noticing. And the brutal truth is, the world doesn't stop for you to catch up. It doesn't slow down for you to get ready. It keeps moving. Opportunities will pass you by. Relationships will drift away. Doors will close. All because you thought you had more time. Understanding the value of time changes how you live. It forces you to be intentional. You don't waste your mornings. You don't waste conversations. You don't waste your gifts. You stop treating your dreams like side hobbies and start treating them like life or death mission. You stop letting fear, laziness, and distraction steal what you can never replace. You recognize that every moment you invest wisely is a brick in the foundation of the life you're building. And every moment you waste is a piece of your future you'll never get to claim, of course. Waiting for the perfect moment is one of the biggest lies we tell ourselves. It's the excuse that sounds the smartest, the most reasonable, but underneath it, it's just fear in disguise. There's no perfect moment. There will never be a time when all the lights are green, when all the doors are open, when you feel completely confident and fully ready to step into your dreams. Perfection is a myth, and waiting for it is how people waste their lives. Every day you delay because you think you need better circumstances, more resources, more time, more certainty. You are choosing comfort over growth, fear over purpose, and safety over your calling. You will never have all the information you think you need. You will never feel 100% prepared. There will always be risks. There will always be unknowns. That's the cost of chasing something greater. That's the price of stepping into who you are meant to be. You have to be willing to move even when the path isn't clear. You have to be willing to pass even when fear is screaming in your ear. The people who make a difference in this world are not the ones who waited for everything to line up perfectly. They are the ones who moved while things were messy, who acted while they were still scared, who decided that their dreams were worth more than their comfort. The idea of the perfect time is a mental trap. It gives you a false sense of control, a false sense of progress. But in reality, it paralyzes you. It keeps you stuck in planning mode, in overthinking, in endless preparation that never turns into real action. It's easy to stay in your comfort zone telling yourself that you're just being smart, that you're just waiting for the right opportunity. But deep down, you know the truth. You're hiding. You're stalling. You're giving fear the driver's seat while telling yourself you're just being patient. There's a difference between strategic patience and cowardly procrastination. And most of the time, we know exactly which one we're practicing. You grow by doing, not by waiting. You get better by trying, failing, adjusting and trying again, not by standing still, hoping the perfect conditions will fall into your lap. Movement creates momentum. Action builds. You learn more by taking one imperfect step than you ever will by sitting on the sidelines, analyzing every possible scenario. Experience is the best teacher, but you can't experience anything if you don't start. You can read all the books, watch all the videos, listen to all the podcasts, but none of it will matter until you take action with what you have. Where you are, with the tools you got right now, success belongs to the bold, not to the perfect. The world rewards the ones who are willing to show up when they feel unqualified, who are willing to speak when their voice is trembling, who are willing to step into the arena when they are not sure they'll win. You don't get extra points for waiting until you're ready. You get results by daring to move when every part of you wants to play it safe. You have to understand that hesitation costs you more than failure ever will. Failure teaches. Failure strengthens. Failure propels you forward. Hesitation robs you. It steals time. It steals energy. It steals the opportunities you were born to claim. You can either spend your life waiting for perfect, or you can start building something real right now. Every dream you have is possible if you are willing to act when it's hard, when it's scary, when it's uncertain. The ones who succeed are the ones who move with urgency, who understand that the window of opportunity does not stay open forever. They respect the moment they are given. They don't ask for guarantees. They bet on themselves, even when the odds aren't clear. They don't need everything to be perfect because they know perfection is the enemy of progress. The difference between success and failure is almost never about talent. It's not about who's the smartest in the room, who's the most naturally gifted, or who had the best head start. It's about who's willing to show up every day and do the work, whether they feel like it or not. Action beats talent when talent refuses to act. Consistency beats brilliance when brilliance gets lazy. The truth is, raw ability without effort is useless. No one cares how much potential you have if you're not willing to put it into motion. Potential without action is wasted energy. It's a beautiful dream with no roots in reality. It's an untold story that will never be written. You can have the best ideas in the world, but if you don't take the first step, they mean nothing. You can be smarter than everyone around you, but if you don't apply that intelligence to real-world problems, it's just a party trick. It's the one who moves, the one who acts, the one who pushes through fear, who changes their life. Movement is what separates winners from dreamers. The ones who act create opportunities for themselves, while the ones who hesitate watch from the sideline, convincing themselves that they could have done it better if they had only tried. There are plenty of talented people who never make it. There are countless intelligent individuals who never live up to what they could have been. The reason is simple. They waited. They doubted. They let their gifts rot in silence because they were too afraid, too lazy, or too distracted to put in the daily effort. Meanwhile, the person who had half their natural skill, but twice their work ethic passes them by. They don't win. Please say we're better. They win because they refuse to sit still. They refuse to be paralyzed by the pursuit of perfect. They chose to act when others chose to wait. You don't have to be the most talented. You don't have to be the smartest. You don't have to have every advantage. You just have to decide that you will not be outworked. You have to make up your mind that you will show up day after day, giving everything you have, even when it's hard, even when it's boring, even when no one is watching. That discipline, that grind, that stubborn refusal to quit will carry you farther than talent ever could. Because talent might open the door, but effort is what keeps you in the room. Effort is what builds trust, creates opportunities, and shapes character. The world is filled with people who talk about what they could do. They say, if I really tried, I could be the best. They say, if I wanted to, I could be successful. But talk is cheap. Nobody cares about what you could do. They care about what you actually do. They care about what you build, what you deliver, what you fight for. Results are not about intention. They are about execution. It's not about dreaming big. It's about working hard when nobody's clapping, when nobody's encouraging you, when nobody even believes in you yet. Every small action compounds. Every step you take, even if it feels insignificant, builds momentum. Every time you choose action over hesitation, you separate yourself from the crowd. You move closer to mastery. You move closer to becoming the person you were born to be. Success is not reserved for the elite. It's reserved for the relentless. It's reserved for the ones who show up when it's inconvenient. It's reserved for the ones who are willing to endure discomfort, to work through fatigue, to sacrifice short-term pleasure for long-term greatness. The battlefield of success isn't fought in public. It's fought in private, in the early mornings, in the late nights, in the small daily choices nobody sees. And in that fight, action is your greatest weapon. Not talent, not luck, not potential, but the simple, stubborn choice to keep moving forward, no matter what. Dreams without action mean absolutely nothing. They sound beautiful when you talk about them. They make you feel good when you imagine them. But without action, they are nothing more than empty wishes floating around in your mind. You can sit around and dream about success all day, but unless you are willing to put in the work, the discipline, the sacrifice, those dreams will never become reality. Talking about it is not enough. Thinking about it is not enough. Dreaming big is just the starting point. What separates the dreamers from the doers is the ability to take consistent action, especially when it's uncomfortable, when it's tiring, and when the excitement wears off. Wishing is easy. Everybody wishes for something. Everybody wants a better life, a healthier body, more money, stronger relationship, a legacy that lasts beyond their lifetime. But very few are willing to do what it actually takes to make it happen. Very few are willing to wake up early, stay up late, face rejection, push through failure, and keep grinding when no one is applauding. Wishing is passive. It keeps you trapped in your head, imagining a life you're not actively building. Action is aggressive. Action pulls that life out of your imagination and drags it into the real world. You can tell how serious someone is about their dreams by how much action they are taking. If you have to be convinced to work on your goals, you're not committed, you're just interested. If you only work when you feel inspired, you're not serious, you're just flirting with the idea of success. True commitment shows up in daily action, in discipline, in a relentless focus that refuses to die, even when the initial excitement fades away. Dreamers get caught up in emotions. Doers get caught up in results. Dreamers chase motivation. Doers build habits that keep them moving forward, even when motivation disappears. Dreams demand a price, and that price is paid in action. Every hour spent honing your craft, every moment spent studying your field, every sacrifice made to invest in your growth is a payment toward the future you say you want. Nobody is going to hand it to you. Nobody's going to build your dream for you while you sit back and hope. The world rewards action take. The world moves for those who move first, who push through barrier, who show up even when it's raining, even when they're tired, even when everything inside them is screaming to quit. Some people spend years fantasizing about the life they want, but never get closer to it because they are trapped. Because they are trapped in their heads. They imagine themselves at the finish line, but refuse to run the race. They love the idea of winning, but hate the reality of the grind. They talk about what they're going to do someday, but someday never comes because they are not moving. The gap between where you are and where you want to be is filled with action, not with dreams, not with good intention, not with wishful thinking. Action is the bridge. Action is the currency that buys the life you dream about. You have to decide what matters more to you, staying comfortable or seeing your dreams come alive. because you cannot have both. Comfort is the enemy of progress. Growth demands discomfort. It demands sacrifice. It demands that you get uncomfortable enough to move, to act, to put yourself in situations where you might fail, where you might look foolish, where you might fall short. But without that risk, there is no reward. Without stepping out and taking action, dreams will stay locked inside you. Dying a slow death from neglect every single day is another chance to act. Another opportunity to move one step closer. It doesn't matter how small the step is. It doesn't matter how imperfect the action is. What matters is that you are doing something to push the dream forward. Dreamers wait. Doers when regret is more painful than failure. Failure might sting in the moment. It might bruise your ego. It might leave you feeling embarrassed or disappointed. But regret cuts deeper. Regret doesn't just visit you once and leave. Regret sits with you. It stays. It lingers in your mind during quiet moments, reminding you of what could have been. This is your one shot, and whether you make the most of it or waste it is entirely on you. We're not placed on this earth to merely exist. You were not born to just pay bills, complain, and fade away. There's a purpose for your life, a calling that only you can fulfill. And every second you spend ignoring it, every second you spend doubting your ability, is a second you're stealing from yourself and from the people you were meant to impact. The world doesn't need more people sitting on the sidelines, afraid to step into the game. It needs people who are willing to risk, to fail, to get hurt, and to keep moving anyway. It needs people who understand that life is fragile, time is precious, and that wasting either is the greatest tragedy. You can make all the excuses you want. You can blame your past, your circumstances, the people who doubted you, the challenges you face. But none of that changes the fact that the clock is ticking. None of that changes the fact that you have a responsibility to yourself to live fully, to love deeply, to give everything you have before your time runs out. Excuses won't matter when the final chapter is written. Circumstances won't matter. The only thing that will matter is what you did with the time you were given. So many people live as if tomorrow was guaranteed. They say, I'll start chasing my dreams when I have more time. I'll spend more time with my family when work slows down. I'll take that leap when I feel ready. But tomorrow is a luxury, not a promise. Work may never slow down. Fear may never go away. The perfect time you're waiting for may never come. All you have is now. All you have is this moment, this decision, this heartbeat. What you do with it will define your life. There will be pain either way. There is pain in discipline, and there is pain in regret. There is pain in stepping out and risking failure, and there is pain in staying stuck and watching life pass you by. You cannot avoid pain, but you can choose the pain that leads to growth, to pride, to fulfillment. You can choose the pain of showing up when you're tired, of pushing through when you're scared, of standing tall when you feel weak. Or you can choose the pain of wondering what could have been, of realizing you played small, of knowing you let fear dictate your story. Living fully doesn't mean you won't make mistakes. It doesn't mean you won't experience heartbreak, failure, disappointment. It means you are willing to face all of that, because the alternative is simply not living at all. It means you understand that a life lived cautiously is a life half lived. It means you realize that dying with your dreams buried inside you is far worse than dying with scars and stories of battles you fought with everything you had. Every second you breathe is a gift. Every moment is an opportunity to move closer to your destiny or further away from it. You don't need permission to start. You don't need perfect condition. You don't need everyone's approval. You need hunger. You need fire. You need to understand that your time here is limited, and what you build with it is up to you. The clock is ticking, and it's not slowing down for any of us. You've been given today, not tomorrow, not someday, but today. What you do with it defines who you become. No more waiting, no more doubting, no more standing on the sidelines watching life pass you by. It's time to move. It's time to act. It's time to fight for the life you were meant to live. Time is running out. Act now.